What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Twink Revolution. I'm Sam,
And I'm Gian.
and it's another boys episode. I have to mention that because we've had so many guests on that I think no one really knows what's coming anymore.
Yes, no, but it's always unexpected at this point.
Yeah.
But we are not alone anymore. We're
with God?
yeah, sort of fundamentally. I mean, we're going down to the river, and into the river we dive.
Yeah. We're gonna go drown in it like the girl in Tabithia. What is it? Tabithia?
Bridget Tarabithia?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's funny. River Page, who, if you're familiar with the Twink Revolution live streams or twinkrev.com and many of the sort of wonderful and successful articles there.
Or Twitter, where he posts shirtless pictures every so often.
Yeah, he thirst traps occasionally. Yeah, you'd be familiar with River Page. Anyway, so he's sort of part of the Twinkrev family now, and he's the new twinkrev.com contributing editor, and yeah, we're very excited to have him. So anyway,
yeah,
give River a follow on Twitter. He's at Lefty Otter,
and support writers like River.
Yeah,
at Patreon /Twinkrev.
Yeah, patreon.com/Twinkrev is the place to go. Give your money to Twinks.
Yeah, shit's been exploding.
It's been ridiculous.
Not just follow the Anna and all these other guests, but also now like the River article.
Yeah, River's article about Alex Morse was doing good.
Yeah, Glenn Greenwald and Katie
retweeted
Halper.
it. Katie Halper retweeted it. Yeah, that shit was just going wild for a few days there.
It's still going wild.
Yeah, no, it's good. And if you haven't read it yet, it's the anatomy of a the resurrection of a woke gay sex panic, I think it's called.
Yeah, I think it's going wild, but not in a good way. It's all these people who are still upset we had Esperanza on to talk about sex work, and they don't I agree to her on the main points.
How very dare you?
I know. I was asked if I worked in sex work, and I'm like, well, I'm gay. All life is sex work at this point.
You're a podcaster. Of course you do.
Yeah, I'm a whore for the public.
Yeah. Can I give a quick tomato plant update? I feel like the main reason people actually tune into all of this is...
Yeah, it's a plant podcast now.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just anybody wants to know that the plants are doing great. Some of the bigger ones, the earlier Roma tomatoes, are in bigger pots now, or actually in bags, but they're pretty big.
Yeah.
I have to keep posting photos on Twitter. So yeah,
posting I think your big tomatoes all over.
Big tomato stalk. Yeah. No, I think we're probably 4 to 6 weeks from maybe some fruiting. I think it's looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty excited.
Your garden keeps getting fucking bigger.
Well, that's the problem, is that the plants are getting bigger, and so the pots they go into gets bigger, and it's just sprawling. It is now taking over half of the small suburban San Francisco backyard.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too. It's a little slice of the jungle.
It's the one sense of change in the world that for me, because everything else is just a giant petting zoo where you're just oh, I guess today we're gonna eat the feed and trough and then go back inside and then wait for another day to happen.
No, that was exactly why I started gardening. Was because I needed something to mark the passage of time, because we've just been in shelter in place in San Francisco basically since early March.
Right.
And so nothing has changed. The weather weather here is also, don't forget, kind of just always the same for the most part. So it's not like you can get the changing the seasons. Trees never lose their leaves here. So you're just there is no passage of time. So all that I mark passage of time by is by my garden growing.
I use the world to pass my time, seeing how other countries are actually going back to normal while we're still trapped in this eternal hellhole called America. Wuhan, they had the giant pool EDM party. I'm not an EDM person anymore. I'm not 19. But they had a giant party. No one's wearing masks, and all these racist xenophobes were how dare you celebrate this while everyone's dying? It's they were in quarantine for 3 months. I think
even more. They had a long quarantine as well. But
now they can have their fun.
Yeah, it turns out. Fault. Yeah, and so New Zealand's back in sort of various forms of lockdown now, but they had 104 days of no coronavirus, and I mean, I saw it like I was still, my friends and family were like posting pictures of like sports games and bars and clubs and
Gangbangs.
gangbangs. Yeah, that's everything. Yeah, all the things that people, post on Instagram.
Right.
Why am I so husky? It's kind of weird. Feeling very self-conscious about how feeling very croaky today. I think it's just like it's incredibly dry here. It's actually very warm.
Yeah, we've having a heat wave and it's been horrible. There's no air conditioning in the Bay Area.
Right. I should probably like drink some water, honestly, but I'm not going to start now.
Yeah, why would you?
Yeah.
Water's poison. If you drink enough, you die.
It's true. You've been reading a lot.
I did. I read 2 books in 2 days, which
Wow, smarty pants.
means I'm not just a like semi-stupid looking face. I'm also a semi-stupid person.
Oh.
I know.
Well, I know what you're reading, but our beautiful
Right.
listeners don't know. What
I
were
read
you reading?
Michael Parenti's To Kill a Nation, which was on the NATO interventions in Yugoslavia.
Hot.
And I hope the Clintons go to The Hague one day.
Yeah, I mean for that and many other things.
Yeah, many other things, but one of many. And then I read Black Shirts and Reds by Michael Parenti.
It's on a Parenti kick.
It was so good.
Wow, would you say those books just showed up and you just unexpectedly just started reading them? Like, where did those come from, Sam? I don't understand why those would be in the house.
I thank God.
Yeah, it's just divine gifts. Is that
Yeah.
what that is? Yeah.
No, they're your books, but you bought 2.
Yeah, I fucking ordered the books and then literally 2 days in a row, so they showed up separately in the mail, and so yeah, Black Shirts and Reds shows up, and I like walk out into the living room, and Sam's reading Black Shirts and Reds. I'm like,
I'm
did
reading-
you order that as well?
I was
Oh.
reading the Yugoslavia book.
Well, yeah, that too. Sorry,
You also
the list of charges grows, Sam.
You have 2 copies of Black Shirts.
Yeah, I don't
and
know how
Reds.
it happened. I don't think I ordered 2.
So it's not like I stole the book from you.
No, but sorry, To Kill a Nation. Certainly, I think I showed you. It arrived in the mail. I opened it.
You threw it to me.
I showed you. I was like, oh, hey, this arrived. Like, isn't this fun? I'm excited to read it. And then I come back into the room 20 minutes later, and Sam is already reading it. I'm like,
Let's be real. You found out on Twitter that I was reading it.
I did. You're right. Yeah. So anyway,
It's my ethnic.
wait, my green
homeland.
book as well. That
Yeah.
also same thing.
I'm sorry. I'm
Little
wanting to
book
read.
thief.
I'm trying to become educated as a twink, and that's rare in this society.
Yeah. Well. So what about those? So Yugoslavia. What have you learned about Yugoslavia?
I think you learn how much propaganda was actually utilized to justify foreign interventions, and just how
No.
bad all these client states were. I
Never.
know. But you don't hear this side of the story. And also how much bullshit you were told that's not true, that's still pathologized in left-wing discourse. Because I mean, I'm aware of this because I read a lot about it, but the left has always been really bad on the issue of Yugoslavia, with people like Christopher Hitchens and the Greens and labor movements and stuff. Which is why they can all fucking burn in hell. But that's just my opinion. I'm less forgiving on that because I think they could have done better and they just chose to be lazy. Yeah, so you learn about basically the first NATO war, the first time a non-state entity declared war on a sovereign nation, and it basically creates the catalyst for all these other wars after
The non-state entity being NATO. Right?
NATO, yeah.
Okay.
So it's things like Libya and the Middle East.
I mean, I declare war on sovereign nations all the time as an individual. I'm a sovereign citizen, though. So.
Yeah, but it's a war on the twinks.
How dare they?
How dare they?
Um,
No, it's so good. And then Black Shirts and Reds, for one, does a really good explanation of what is fascism and how does it arise in society, which I think most of the left libs need to learn about because
just call everything fascist and you might get it right occasionally, right?
yeah, which is dangerous because
It diminishes the actual value of calling something fascist, which is to say if something's really fascist, I think you're. I mean, I've said this before, I think, but you are suggesting we should go out and start shooting these people.
Right.
And believe me, I take that very seriously. Not to say, I don't think calling somebody fascist is a thing one should do lightly. I think you should be pretty sure about that, because if you genuinely believe it, then I will be looking at you being like, why are you not taking action here?
Right. And then it talks about the socialist accomplishments throughout Eastern Europe and China and stuff, as well as what happens after they collapsed. And he explains how a lot of them became kind of or full-on police states, and maybe weren't as free and democratized as they could have been, because they were consistently under siege from imperial interests, which I think the left is really bad at acknowledging this. They kind of just why don't they America? Why don't they have free speech? And why don't they have all these things? It's these countries like Russia or Soviet Union never had a chance to have a regular year. They were always under siege from imperialism, war, civil war, the small capitalists trying to regain power, Radio Free Europe, and all these fuckheads.
Yeah.
It's what are they supposed to do? This is the result, which I think is important. And then the aftermath of everyone be fuck, we made the wrong choice. Everything got really bad, and kept mentioning children living in the sewers in a lot of places like Mongolia and
among us,
Romania. And it's this is horrible.
Yeah, no, it's not good. No, it's funny. I'm not as far into black shirts and reds as you are. You finished it. Yeah, I'm a little way in. I need to finish it, but it's an easy read, and I gotta say, I've been noticing just a lot of people have been reading it lately.
Right.
A lot of my friends and a lot of our online friends and things have been enjoying Michael Parenti's Black Shirts and Reds, and I really recommend it, honestly. So far, I think it's just a sort of clear-eyed vision of a straightforward way to be a sort of sincere leftist in the world that is not kind of part of this rabid anti-communist American tradition. I really like it so far. And everyone I know who's finished it really likes it too. So anyway, maybe you would like to consider getting yourself a copy of Black Shirts and Reds by Michael Parenti.
Yeah, it's a quick read.
Yeah, it's not long. And it's very well written. Parenti is always a very engaging speaker and reader. Writer.
Right. So DNC stuff has been going on, and you've been following it more than I have, because I'm
I'm just here for the memes.
I'm lobotomized. I don't care anymore.
No, well, that's not being lobotomized. That's being sensible. Would you like to hear a list of the speakers on the giant Zoom call that is the Democratic National Convention this year?
Boy, do I ever.
All right. So, Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, Barack Hussein Obama, John Lose Easy Election Kerry, Michelle Hussein Obama, Jill Hussein Biden, Chuck Hitler Schumer, Bernard Not in This Race Anymore Sanders, Cory Gay Booker, Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren. Sorry, I can only keep this bit up so long, but I'm gonna keep trying.
Okay.
Amy, we must elect a woman of color as vice president. Klobuchar. Doug, who the fuck are you, Jones? Catherine, never heard of you, Cortez Masto. Jim Clyburn, got nothing for that one. Sorry. Cedric the Entertainer Richmond. Who? Wow, they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. I have no idea who these people are. This is Gretchen Whitmer. Andrew Shithead Cuomo, not the good Cuomo. John, I am one of the worst people on earth, and I get to speak of the DNC. Kasich, Muriel Bowser. I don't know.
How many more is there?
700.
Okay.
I'm going through all of them. That's the next hour here, people.
Perfect.
Mayor Peter Hussein Buttigieg.
Butt chug.
Andrew, Universal basic infection Yang. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
For 1 minute.
And Hilarious Clinton.
When Hillary Clinton spoke,
Hill Dog is speaking. I think she's on Wednesday.
I think she should get the fuck out of my home city.
I think she should just... she's not there. Don't worry. It's probably a pre-recorded. This is all online for the most part.
She can still go fuck herself because she's a murderer.
So Biden got 3,627 delegates, and Sanders got 1,151 with 6
Wait, he got
abstentions.
1,000 delegates? He dropped out?
1,150 delegates. Don't forget that the last race didn't even get run. So the point being, they needed 1,991 to win, and Biden got 36. So Biden is officially the delegate, the candidate, and Senator Kamala Harris of California is the VP nom.
Did you watch the Bernie speech?
I did.
What was it like?
Trump is the most dangerous, blah, 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 blah.
Oh my God, that was so spot on.
Thank you. It's just the same fucking Trump brain shit that he's been doing the whole time, and he would never get off that fucking train. It's horrible.
I'm over it. All these people who are like,
let me discipline the working class into voting for Joe Biden.
We want to get rid of this man in the office because he's the worst man ever.
Orange Cheeto Man, bad.
And then we could talk about the real issues, and it's like, go fuck yourself. Like, this is such petty bouge, like shithead talking points. And
yeah, it's just no, it's Trump brain. Anyway,
if like George, like I was Ben Studebaker is posting like how horrible Bush was compared to Trump. It's like,
yeah, I don't think people who have not lived through much more political awareness than the Trump era. If you came to political awareness in 2016, I can see how this could be all very scary. But I guarantee you living through the Bush era was worse.
The libs love the neocons though, because they all have the same like political agenda. Actually, there was the video. What was it? Randy Rainbow.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So yesterday was tough.
Yeah,
there was a lot going on.
Kamala.
So yeah, in the morning, this sort of gay lib comedian, extremely online comedian, Randy Rainbow, who's been around forever, came out with this bizarre video. And if you haven't seen it, don't watch it. It was horrible. But he's wearing a Game of Thrones costume, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
And is sort of doing like all this green screen in front of like news footage of Biden and Kamala, and he's singing this horrible kind of syrupy Disney gay song of Kamala.
I don't think he's actually gay because that would imply he has a sexuality. I think he's like a castrated like male.
Well, I can certainly say after watching after watching that, I will never have a sex drive ever again.
I'm post gay now.
Yeah, so it led to many questions. One which was like, why does this exist? It's not funny, for the record. It's just a sort of gormless encomium or love letter in a sort of psychosexual pathology about Kamala Harris. And then the other part is why is it 4.5 minutes long? It has one idea, which is, yes, slay queen.
Yeah.
And then it goes for 4.5 fucking minutes of this awful thing.
It's just to be like, Kamala is amazing, but also don't mention any of her issues until they win. It's like, yeah, that's...
Oh, it doesn't matter, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So
I don't like identity politics in that kind of sense of like, okay, bougie, like, gay white man who like probably makes a ton of money. Like, I'm pretty sure that's
who
great.
cares? Yeah, just like brain so smooth you can see your face in it.
But I don't. Do you think Kiss was worse than the Billy Porter video?
Well, so wait, I haven't got to that one yet. I just want to, I have to do these in sequence.
Okay.
So the Randy Rainbow one, I'm proud to say I just I reposted with just hell screams and like horror movie sounds over it, and it made it much better. So you can go check that one out on Twitter.
It was better, and it was actually quite scary. You should.
It was. It has a kind of creepy.
Gave me haunted house vibes.
It was. No, that's what it was. So that lasted a few hours. We got to enjoy that, and then
has he been on Little St. James Island?
I doubt it.
No, I feel like he definitely has.
He's probably a little young,
but not for like
old.
like molesting children. It's like to wear their skin to be like,
Yeah, no, it was very creepy. Well, and so then as soon as that came out, a lot of people were reposting his tweets because he's one of these like hack Twitter comedians from like 2010. And so he has a lot of like very problematic content in terms of like, I'm trying to remember. There's one I remember off the top of my head because it was kind of funny, honestly. It was like, what is it? Why is it okay that I bought a white noise machine, but it's problematic when I say I bought it to drown out black noise in my building or something. Anyway, that's Randy Rainbow, ladies and gentlemen, big Kamala Harris stan. And so that lasted a few hours. And then, as part of the entertainment, one of these interludes to the online DNC shit show, we had Pose star Billy Porter.
oh my God.
And Stephen Stills, who, if you're under the age of 400, was a member of like Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and he's a piece of like old rocker. So those two in front of a really horrible green screen, like weird American flag with weird inverted colors and shit.
Right.
And then
Bunch of like Black Lives Matter.
yeah, a bunch
imagery.
of BLM sort of like weird sort of visuals, and then Billy Porter's just sort of flouncing around looking incredibly serious in like, I'm an actor
You think
kind of
he's
way.
like serious? I thought he looked like
He looked goofy as shit, but he was trying. No, I'm saying he had a very like, he had sort of his like, I am doing acting right now. There was a lot of pathos in the
I
expression.
took it as like, look how gay I am in my heart. Like his outfit was bad. Like you could wear like a dress, and he was kind of wearing that, but it was
Right.
like flowing in a way that made no sense. And he's like, oh yes, because this whole stick is like,
Right.
I'm an older gay man, and I wear whatever clothes I want, and that's radicalism. It's like,
yeah.
guess what? Every other male celebrity's also doing this. Like, it's just so boring.
Sure.
And like,
yeah, give Shia LaBeouf a call to find out how to do that right. But anyway, so they were doing For What It's Worth, which there's something happening here, and it's this very like kind of ham-fisted performance of it in front of all this sort of BLM graphics that are badly green screened in
yeah,
to this just like, it looks like sort of one of those like shitty high school video production music videos. Steven Stills is in there just like with a guitar, kind of just like getting zoomed in and out of frame, like crash zooms. The colors are all off. And then, yeah, Billy Porter is wearing what I can only describe as sort of like a flowing black tent cape thing.
Yeah.
And is sort of flouncing in it. But then, as I say, he's looking deadpan into the camera and kind of looking mournful the entire time. And then giving a pretty wonky vocal performance. It was not great.
He can't sing.
He can. I think he can sing. I would just say it wasn't good.
Because he
It
sings.
wasn't a strong musical performance.
He sings in Pose, and every time I've done it, I'm like, God fucking damn it! Like, stop doing singing episodes. None of your actors can sing. Like, if you're gonna do a singing episode, it'd be spectacular. And this is like,
I mean, yeah.
like you could auto-tune me, and I would sound just as good.
Yeah. So anyway, the problem is this also goes on for an interminable 4.5 minutes or something, and this is, I was not the first to observe, like, this is the moment Trump wins the election. Because this shit is just, like, alienating. It's just such a weird cultural signifier.
He was going to win before any of this even
yeah,
happened.
but this guaranteed it. Like, if I had to, in the post-mortem for this one, in the, when we unpack the black box, I think we will have to talk about this performance.
Did you watch the Michelle Obama, speech?
I did not. I saw her, but I didn't.
She was like, Trump is not right for the White House. We must out him. Biden, Kamala, 2020. And she...
Who is watching this shit?
No, and I don't like talking about women because that's always sounds like me. But I mean to everyone, so it's equality. But she was looking rough. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's COVID, just making her have to stay home.
She can't get a regular supply of stem cells.
But you know what I mean? Not enough children in the pizza basement. But you know how presidents often age a lot when she looks
Sure.
like she's also had that. And it's like, what did you do?
It's
You
the
made a
guilt.
bunch of like fat kids have to eat disgusting food.
Yeah, she knows the guilt. She knows
Like-
what she did.
Yeah. Like we talked about this in our live stream. Both me and River were under her like regime of like shitty, healthy food. And it's like, congratulations. You starved a bunch of kids who needed more calories and then you made the rest eat horrible sweet potato fries.
Delicious.
Never forgive them. I don't like her. Everyone's like, I love her. I'm like, yeah, it's because you didn't withstand
the
all
arms,
her
yeah.
policy. Is like,
So my problem with the DNC this year is that the world has changed.
did it?
Yeah. Though if
Nothing's
you notice,
changed. Yeah, I'm like,
I
what?
know this world is the same, right? Well, if you were to watch this DNC Zoom nightmare, you wouldn't think anything had changed. It's just like they are. It's a sort of a bunch of careerist weirdos going to their like industry conference. It's the same as like if you had like a fucking like dentistry convention or something. It's what
That sounds more fun.
Well, that's the tone of this thing. It's just this like tacky fucking spectacle they're doing as though nothing was any different. And I just cannot mask my hatred for these people anymore. They are just awful.
Yeah.
Like how fucking dare they?
like people are trying to still resurrect Bernie for speaking. He's like, just like, Kamala, what's my choice? I saw people like, oh, he's still gonna fight for revolution. It's like, since when? He's like such a cock. Like, I don't mean it to be mean, but like,
He's just rolled over.
I don't care like anymore. Like, cause he's not. I never liked people as politicians to begin with.
No,
I like Bernie as a tool, but he's no longer useful.
Now he's a giant fucking tool.
He is a tool, but not in a way I want. And it's like all these people are just like the future, like Pelosi's and Feinstein's and Clinton's. Like AOC spoke for like what 90 seconds, and
90 seconds too long.
yeah, she's gonna be. Like, they wouldn't give her a platform if she had a real radical left platform. She would be removed. Like Tulsi Gabbard didn't get a speaking talk. Like.
Well, yeah, no, I just the thing about the structure of this convention, the speakers they've chosen, is it's just this like weird kind of like boomer nostalgia tour, right? It's just literally trying to recreate the fun of, you've seen the videos of like Hillary doing the Macarena at the 96 Democratic Convention, right?
Is that before they stab the person in the purge?
Yeah, no, same time. No, it's just that. They're literally just trying to recreate that with this like incredibly sort of, I don't know, saccharine bullshit performance, and the whole thing is just a theater of the absurd for them to all pretend that the world is still normal, and the world isn't normal, and they're not helping.
Well, so it's spectacle for the petty bouge class. Like everyone, like no working class person's like, I'm gonna watch the DNC thing. Like, who the fuck does that? That's psychopath behavior. I've seen people post it in the
I'm
Bay
going to
Area.
log on to Zoom. I'm going to register for the webinar of the DNC.
People are like, oh, it was so good. I loved it. I'm like, why are you watching
These
this?
people are psychotic.
You
Who
can
is
watch-
this for?
You can watch American Dad on TV, and it's like you'll learn more about the
You
world.
can go watch the Randy Rainbow Kamala video,
Kamala,
and you can watch that. Yeah,
Kamala.
and you can watch that like 4,000 times in the time that they're going to do this 5-day DNC monstrosity.
Go read a fucking book. Read Parenti.
Yeah, go read some Parenti.
It's literally like gonna teach you more than you learn.
It'll
in,
take
like,
you an afternoon versus the 5 days. This is nonsense. Will fucking take
Is it 5 days?
I think so. It's 4 or 5 days, something like that.
I know.
It's absurdly long. I think it's. I think it goes all week.
Billie Eilish is on tomorrow, and I'm like, they're trying to do the same 2016 bullshit.
Is
Like,
she gonna be like, "There's something happening here"?
I murdered
And just
Libya.
stop. Hey, what's that sound?
She's just gonna
Look
say
what's
about
going down.
Clinton murdering people.
Stop, Clinton. Put that child down.
She's like, I murdered Libya. Then I overthrew Honduras. They burned to the ground. I didn't hear a sound. That's the most you're going to get of me singing on this podcast.
That's beautiful.
But I thought it was
Thank you,
pretty
Sam. Yeah,
yeah.
I like that. Speaking of singing, we might see more of you singing soon,
yeah,
but in contest form.
American Song Contest.
Yeah, so what is this? I mean, we're big Eurovision fans, but you're a bigger Eurovision fan than I am these days.
So Eurovision's people, like the ones who help put it on, are doing a sister series in the US called American Song Contest. I think it's partially so they don't make America join Eurovision and like destroy. Like, I think America would destroy. Like, let's be real, because we can do camp,
Superpower, motherfucker.
we can do gay, and like we have Hollywood,
and we have the CIA. We can believe me. You think tampering with a few national juries of fucking radio presenters is gonna present obstacles to us? We can do this.
So basically, it's all 50 states will submit a song and a performer to compete against each other, and there's gonna be like semifinals, and then very similar to like Eurovision. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be like fucking shit, like, you know what I mean? But it's being controlled by all of the people who've done like Melodifestivalen, which is the Swedish contest to choose their selection, and a bunch of other people from the Eurovision community. So they're not really giving it control to Americans to destroy. It's actually people in that world. And they're also working to bring in artists from all different American genres to create what are they called? Committees?
The national the state juries. Yeah.
So they're doing that to do the juries, but it's like,
because so the structure of Eurovision these days, it's evolved over the years, but it's that about half the points come from a popular vote, like a text vote or whatever, and then the other half come from a sort of professional jury for each country. They cannot vote for their own entry, of course, but they can vote for anybody else and assign points. And they it's made up of usually like radio people and performers and like pop stars and shit like that. It's sort of like
that's what it's gonna be.
Who's who of the entertainment industry.
But at least
in the
according
country.
to the website, they're gonna have all different genre representatives to help choose the committees and make sure it's like, because like in America it could easily just heavily bend towards like country or pop, most likely country, because country always wins. But
but I don't think it would win the American Song Contest.
Well, I'm not sure.
The audience for that shit, I think, is pretty limited. It's just like the problem with music genres in general is it's like very few people buy music or listen to the radio.
Yeah.
It's not how most people consume music anymore, but that's how the industry works. And so there's a skew towards like, who the fuck is listening to the radio? It's not like your average music consumer.
I'm also curious, like, how will they select songs each day? Because like Delaware and Rhode Island are gonna have very limited selections compared to California. Like, you know what I mean?
Isn't wait, what's the least populous state? Is it like
Rhode Island?
Oh, really? How many people?
I don't know, but it's like the smallest state.
Isn't Idaho like fuck all people and like the Dakotas and stuff like that? Like some of these states have like 300,000 people or some shit, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just guessing here, but yeah, no, that's the thing. And similarly, I mean, Russia competes against, Luxembourg in Eurovision too. So, and yet Russia doesn't win that often. So
yeah, because it's rigged. Russia should have won so many more times.
That's why it's jury selected, so you can make sure Russia wins.
But I'm excited. Like, people are like, "Oh, it's gonna be bad." I'm like, "No, I think it'll be actually quite good." So you've taken other international formats of song contests, and I think we've done them quite well. Like, The Masked Singer was taken from Korea, and I think we did it.
The Idol format was also taken from, I think, Australia.
Yeah, but like we did it well. I think we made The Masked Singer better because they did like the extravagant outfits, and the people were good. They did real.
And they have some good B-grade celebrities to draw upon here.
Yeah. So I'm like curious to know, like, is it just going to be an endless trap of already prominent celebrities singing, or is it going to be a lot of like new
amateurs,
talent?
Yeah. So Eurovision used to be more like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember how this worked, and like this is probably intensely boring to anybody who's not have extreme Eurovision brain, but I think there was something about the fact that it had to sort of be amateurs essentially.
Yeah.
And so it's not anymore. That's why you have people like Ronan Keaton or whatever, and Celine Dion showing up in Eurovision.
Well, Celine Dion performing in Eurovision is what actually helped boost her career.
That launched her career.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, ABBA were pretty big in Sweden before
Right.
they went on Eurovision, but they certainly didn't have a world profile. So anyway, I think it'll be interesting. And so it's coming, I think, holiday season, they say 2021. So
Yeah.
we have to wait. We have to wait to see a year or so.
I'm
But I'll be in for it.
excited.
All right. Well, we'll
I'm wondering where they're gonna host it too. Like, will it be California? You think?
no idea. It'll be New York.
We should go.
Great.
We can do live streams.
Yeah, cool. No, we'll live stream it, and but I think the thing is we have to find out what is the party line on the correct contingent to support, like which performer represents the eternal science of Marxism Leninism correctly.
Right. Also, we're gonna get 50 new songs. Like, that's pretty exciting. Like, I love.
God forbid.
Like, for me, like, it's exciting to hear all the new songs, and they can't do political songs, which is always nice.
Well, maybe they can in the U.S.
No, I don't think they're gonna
If
allow.
tomorrow all these things were gone, I worked for all my life.
I think the song.
And I had to start again. No, are we not doing some 9/11 tributes?
No.
And I'm proud to be an American.
To be fair, Eurovision's broken this rule as well.
Yeah. How did that song go?
When strangers
Fuck
are
Russia.
Yeah.
Russia is
It was
bad.
the Ukraine's last winter. They wrote a song about Stalin excommunicating them, the Crimean Tatars, and that wasn't considered political, which is like, how is that not political? Like, it was like right when like the Crimea stuff happens, like that's not political, but you get
yeah.
fined to like
Hell yeah.
Iceland holding up Palestinian flags.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah,
I gotta say that was pretty good. In
they shouldn't have gone.
Was
but-
in Jerusalem?
No, it was in
It
Tel
was
Aviv.
in Tel Aviv.
They were
That's
gonna, when they announced it, when she won Netta from Israel, she announced when she won it's going to be in Jerusalem, and then they had to change it to Tel Aviv. Like
Nice.
a few months later.
Yeah, and then yes, so Iceland with their queer screamo performance.
Anti-capitalist, which just means lib, but
Yeah, lib. But they did that performance, and then at the very end, on the national stage, they unfurled a bunch of Palestinian flags, which I thought was pretty cool.
they got screwed over. They did not deserve 10th. They deserved higher.
Yeah, well, that's what you get for supporting Palestinians. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, we'll all look forward to the American Song Contest as a sort of an orgy of
There's a lot
consumer
of
and media culture, but it should be fun.
There's a lot of talent in America, and
No,
I
there's
think
not.
yes, there is.
No, not
Is there-
one. Name an American artist.
You?
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're on Spotify, and you were born in America.
Yeah, but no. I'm saying name somebody from America that's had a successful music career. I'll wait.
Beyonce.
You know, no, doesn't work.
Beyonce's born in America.
Wow, you think she's successful? Wow. You've
Michael
denying
Jackson.
the existence of a patriarchy that would prevent a woman from succeeding in America. I don't get it.
No, she.
Michael Jackson canceled. Fuck you. We've erased his catalog.
Wait,
He doesn't have a record.
It's Celine Dion. No, she's I'm sorry, Canadian. I meant
Canadian?
I meant
Yeah.
Christina Aguilera,
Trash.
Ariana Grande.
Italian.
Yeah, Italian American.
And canceled for doing digital blackface or something, right? What is that called? Blackfishing or something? Where she's like
It's
spray tanning too dark.
It's blackfishing.
Blackfishing. She's spray tanned herself to sort of pretend to be a POC that's not Italian.
You're mixing up digital blackface.
Yeah, no,
which is when
sorry.
you send black memes.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
I never knew what the term
So
is.
digital blackface.
I'm glad we're learning this on a live podcast. This is great.
Digital blackface is when you use like brown or black emojis or like GIFs with black people being like
Like reactionary,
reactionary, and that's
famous
like
yeah.
blackface to people. Like
Okay.
I know people who've actually been like, this is like actually an issue,
Huh.
and I'm like, what?
Like,
Like I've never.
is there like I don't know. I'm just gonna throw this out there. Would
Right.
it be like, should we put a sign saying like whites only on certain gifts and like
Do I have to do a melanin test
blacks
for?
only on certain gifts or something? So like, I don't know. This is like old. Sorry, this is age old discourse. I'm kind of catching up here. I didn't know this. I'm sorry. I meant black fishing, which is what
Yeah.
there was a bunch of magazines breathlessly talking about
It's
Ariana
when
Grande.
you look to.
Yeah, that she was kind of
she,
trying
like,
to
spray
pretend to
tans.
be a person of color of some sort. Sort of.
No, it's just not. I don't think it's true
Yeah,
at
but
all.
she's Italian.
She gets a spray
wait.
tan. She
Well,
wasn't
wait,
even
and so keep going. You still haven't named an American artist. That's good.
Ariana Grande.
No, she's canceled.
She's not.
She did
canceled.
blackfishing. She's not good.
That's not
No,
a
doesn't. We
thing.
don't even know she makes music anymore. She's very problematic. Yeah, my point stands. There you go. There's not a single good American artist. All right.
Yes, there is.
So anyway, moving on. You're an animal lover.
Sometimes.
Yeah. A good thing you don't live in North Korea, because otherwise you'd have to eat your pet dog.
Yeah, North Korea, according to the mainstream media. I love that term.
The lame stream media.
The dipshit media. Well, a bunch of like Daily Caller and shit were like, North Korea is rounding up all the pet dogs in Pyongyang, which is the capital, so they can eat them, and because it's bourgeois decadence.
Should I just read the article? It's very short.
Go ahead.
So this is in the New York Post. Kim Jong-un orders pet dogs to be confiscated in North Korean capital by Kate Sheehy.
I love that name.
Yeah, it's good. Shout out, Kate. North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un has ordered pet dogs to be confiscated in the country's capital, saying the pooches represent Western, quote, decadence, end quote. But their owners fear Fido is really headed for someone's dinner table. No uncomfortable tropes here. Kim issued the directive in July to round up the pets, claiming they're part of a tainted trend by bourgeois ideology, a source told the English edition of Chosun Libo, a South Korean newspaper. Quote, ordinary people raise pigs and livestock on their porches, but high-ranking officials and the wealthy own pet dogs, which stoked some resentment among the lower classes, the source said. Authorities have identified households with pet dogs and are forcing them to give them up or forcefully confiscating them and putting them down. But while the oppressive regime says the move is to clamp down on capitalist extravagance in Pyongyang, the dog owners are fearful that given North Korea's food shortage and propensity for eating dog meat, that's a link. I don't know where it goes. Another New York Post article. The directive has only come about to feed the masses. The dog owners are cursing Kim Jong-un behind his back, but otherwise their hands are tied, the source lamented.
Yeah, so
And that's the end of the article. There you go, people. The 17th of August, 2020.
So I've seen a lot of people actually share this article, and
It has a menacing photo of Kim Jong-un from the Associated Press as well.
yeah, but people shared it. But it's like if you click on the South Korean website where they first mention it, it's on Chosun Ilbo. The only source they have is called source. They don't
according to a source.
Yeah, they don't even mention like, is this a government official, an escapee, anything like that. It's just like it's a source. This is like a common feature
According to some shit we made up.
for North Korea is just mentioning source, and people just taking that at face value. And I'm like, I'm not gonna take anything at face value when it's just like, oh, a source says this. Like, that's not journalism. That's not reporting the news. That's just propaganda at this point. I mean, endless story after story has been proven to be fabricated of people coming back to life because they were murdered, or unicorns being found by North Korea when it's like, oh, they found a historical temple after a South Korean creature, like name of it. And it's like just bad translations and bad propaganda. And
There's a follow-up from our friend Kate Sheehy.
okay.
1 day later. This is today on August 18th.
Perfect.
Yeah. This is where some confiscated North Korean pet dogs end up.
How did I know?
North Koreans upset about dictator Kim Jong-un ordering pet dogs to be confiscated in the capital. That is a link back to the article we just read, which was published yesterday.
Oh my God.
In the capital, you can still see some of the pooches in zoos. The country has put a collection of the canines on display at state-run zoos amid Kim's edicts over the years. Now that you do, this is to an article called Kim Jong-un, Crazy Outrageous Facts and Rumors.
Oh my God.
Good. To confiscate pampered pups in Pyongyang because they represent Western decadence, a report said. The report is not linked or indicated. The Kuki leader renewed the call to round up the household pets again in July. A source told the South Korean newspaper Chosun Libo. How do you say that one?
Evo.
Isn't there an L?
It's ILBO.
Oh, that's ILBO? Okay. Yeah. Text on this website is a little small. So yeah, Chosun Ibo. Authorities have identified households with pet dogs and are forcing them to give them up and forcibly confiscated and putting them down, the source said. That's the same quote from the other article.
Yes.
So we just published the same article twice here, people. The regime says that keeping dogs as pets is a bourgeois ideology. The source says. Yet again, the source is not alleged to be, there's no source here. Dog meat is a popular food in the country. And recent food shortage has made it all the more viable eating option.
Want to know a fun fact?
Just recycling all the same things.
This idea of like, oh, they're eating dogs. There's been reports of people eating dogs in the U.S. and in many Eastern European countries and even like Italy, because turns out people under like poverty, much of which is due to like neoliberal capitalism or severe sanctions or just outright like regular capitalism, they gotta eat. Like this is like such white chauvinism of like.
Yeah, the idea of dogs as man's best friend as opposed to food. What's that? Wait, I had to see what I can do the Werner Herzog thing. The man looked at the dog and saw a friend, but the dog only saw lunch. There we go. Werner Herzog, ladies and gentlemen.
Love it.
Sorry, here we go. Days later, it surfaced that North Korea was demanding dog pelts from its citizens as part of an annual tribute, the China Morning Post said. South China Morning Post, sorry. And they reposted that article. Yeah, good. So anyway, apparently Kim Jong-un owns dogs. His father, Kim Jong-il, owned dogs. And Kim famously gifted 2 hunting dogs, dubbed peace puppies, to South Korean President Moon Jae-in.
Wow. Horrible.
Yeah, so anyway, filed under Dogs, Kim Jong-un, North Korea.
So we have a lot of unsubstantiated facts.
Oh, it's just the source is hilarious. I love this.
Yeah, but this is a
the
common
source
trend.
just says a source. There's no, it literally, you can read the article in Chosun Ilbo, whatever. Ilbo.
People eat it up though.
And it just says it over and over again. It just is a source. There's nothing else.
This is a common trend for imperialist propaganda. I'm not saying like, oh.
Oh, wait, sorry. The Chosun Ilbo article says, one defector says these clampdowns are usually enforced without great enthusiasm, but seem to be more severe this time.
Oh.
That's the end. That's
perfect.
Good. So anyway, the thing is, one doesn't have to provide uncritical support to North Korea, but one would hope people would be a little less credulous in this bullshit. But it's used a lot. You pull it on this, right? That dogs, for some reason, dogs just center at the.
I'll read some off. So this one's targeted towards Vietnam. These are article titles: Eat, Pray, like PREY, love. Vietnam's dogs double as family members and dinner. Or Venezuela, pets are the latest victims of Venezuela's economic crisis.
They're eating rabbits.
And in Iran, walking your dog is banned in Tehran, but that's not stopping dedicated pet owners. This is like petty bouge bullshit. Like, oh, we don't care about the 40,000 people killed by sanctions in Venezuela since 2017.
Yeah, but the dogs, man.
But they might have eaten some dogs or some horses, and we can't allow that. That's horrible. Like, do you see the
I'm gonna put
priority?
in the race cars. They shoot horses, don't they? As the close out to this
Yeah,
episode.
this is the funny thing. A lot of like people who wear fur in the U.S., a lot of them have been found out to be wearing dog and cat fur. Burger King in like the UK has been found to have like horse meat in it. Like people eat like
Tasty.
like they're not, if this is like
I've eaten horse.
yeah, that's very popular in Italy.
Yeah, yeah.
What is like donkey sausage
Sure,
and like
yeah,
horse
yeah.
meat?
Yeah, of course I know.
But it's like it's tied in with this weird like ethnocentrism, but also
Well, it's like you can tell exactly to whom it is trying to appeal.
the bougie wine moms.
Yeah, like honestly, anybody's like my dog and my 2.5 children, my fucking SUV. Like we can relate to this, and this must be monstrous. There's no historical context to learn here. There's no scrutiny to be applied. They're being mean to dogs, and as we know from sort of viral videos, or what's that, or even the Netflix hit series, "Don't Fuck with Cats."
Yeah.
Keep in mind, they titled it "Don't Fuck with Cats." The same guy killed a person.
Right. But also, even if all of this is true, like maybe like pets are suffering under like poverty, which happens in the U.S. too. I
Oh,
volunteered.
fuck it. Maybe they're rounding up the dogs and shooting them. I don't
Yeah.
give a shit.
Or like maybe Iran is strict on pet ownership, which is probably true because it's a Muslim nation. Like they're not big fans of like handling dogs.
Aren't dogs haram?
Yeah, they are. That's why.
Yeah.
Um,
And
But it's
rightly
like-
so. I like fully and unironically endorse that position.
But it's to
Dogs
make-
are gross.
these countries seem like particularly evil when like the same country accusing them of all these things, like the U.S. has like one of the highest meat consumption rates of like factory farms that are probably way worse than any of these animals' lives. It's like, is this really what we're going to support to like continue imperialist action and like sanctions against all these countries?
Absolutely. No, I mean,
But also, pet ownership is linked to a certain class interest historically. Animal rights or animal welfare was based in the petite bourgeois of rising capitalist Europe.
in Britain
And it
particularly,
was primarily
right? Yeah.
targeted towards
The humane societies and shit like that, right? It was all like a very British,
Yeah.
like, yeah, kind
But
of
it was-
mercantile class.
was
right?
targeted towards working animals like oxen and horses, which were owned by the working class, which I'm not going to say is great. They probably weren't treated very well, but like these animals were not connected to them. And instead, it was another burden to shame the working class for how dare you like work your oxen really hard or work your horse really hard, or how dare you have like these horrible blood sports like
Fox hunting.
not foxing is a rich people sport,
Yeah.
but like
Like cockfights.
cockfights and like dog fighting and stuff.
Mm.
Like rich people had far worse blood sports of like people killing each other and like
Just people working
larger
themselves to death.
animals, like extravagant, like exotic
Oh yeah,
animals
big
fighting.
game stuff. Yeah.
So it's like this whole animal rights rhetoric. Well, like I'm a vegan, I care about animals and animal liberation, is all used to like shame like the third world and like poor people for not being as like civilized. When
Oh,
it's
they've
like,
been mean to a dog. We must invade.
how dare a poor person not care about like an animal when they're also starving and lacking of proper material needs?
Well, I mean, to quote Pulp Fiction, it's dog eats his own feces. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't eat dog either. But do you consider a dog to be a filthy animal? I wouldn't go so far as to call a dog filthy, but they're definitely dirty.
Yeah.
Dogs have personality. Personality goes a long way to justifying an invasion. Yeah, there you go.
I mean, cows have personalities, so
Yeah.
like just
They're
like
not smart enough to not be tasty, though.
have you had dog meat?
No, but I would. I'm gonna go eat the neighbor's dog. It's
Well, let's
kinda
go to
annoying.
North Korea and you can eat some dog meat.
Sounds good. As long as they're good proletarian dogs.
Actually, I've seen people go do videos in North Korea, and there is dog meat restaurants.
Sure, yeah, no, of course there is,
but,
because
like,
it's just not considered a fucking thing.
Dog meat in a
In the
lot of
same way that
parts of
eating
Europe.
horse in the US is considered weird and gross, and how could you? That's Black Beauty and Far Lap or whatever. Like,
You know, we had horse slaughterhouses until 2007 in the U.S.
yeah, good.
But like,
Fuck those horses.
like, dog meat is not culturally taboo in a lot of the world, and like in Asia, a lot of it's like considered warming, like the body and stuff.
Right,
So it's like,
whatever. It's just a fucking.
who cares? It's a fucking
animals.
animal.
Right,
Like,
they're
if you're
just-
gonna eat cows, you shouldn't be shamed for eating dogs. Like,
Hmm.
also they're not stealing like little laugh dogs from the sheeple to like.
I
make
love the idea
soup.
of like little like handbag, like purse chihuahuas.
That's what they make it sound like, though.
Yeah.
Like, no,
Shih Tzus.
sheeple dogs are usually like little lap dogs. They're not eating
yeah.
those. That's gross. Like, no one wants to eat that shitty like chicken. It's not even good chicken.
Mhm. Well, and with that, I think we're at time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye, guys.
So the only thing to feel sad about is all the dogs and the horses you have to outlive. They'll be with you when you say